Think you've seen it all when it comes to paranormal clips? Well, think again.
That clip was on a whole other level, and it's only the start. Today's episode is a wild ride through cryptids, strange sightings, and the kind of footage that makes you question everything.
I'm Steve. This is Classified Captures.
So we're starting with a bit of a wild one, and honestly, I won't blame you if you don't believe it. I went back and forth on this a lot. I wasn't sure whether to include it, but here we are. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is there a picture of some weird alien, followed by a photograph of Fran Drescher? Yeah, Fran Drescher, the loud, hilarious nanny from the 90s sitcom we all grew up on. But here's where things take a turn. Fran has a story that's way stranger than anything you saw on TV. She claims that both she and her ex-husband, Peter Mark Jacobson, were abducted by aliens, not together but separately, and this was before they even met. Weird, I know, but it gets even weirder. They both have the exact same scar on the same hand at the same spot. Neither of them remembers how it got there. And Fran doesn't think it's just some random coincidence. She believes it's proof that they were marked, chosen, and watched. She's talked about flashes of light, strange dreams that feel way too real, and this feeling that something's beyond what we understand that's guiding her life. She even thinks her relationship with Peter wasn't just about love. She says it might have been part of a larger plan, like cosmic matchmaking. Peter kind of laughed it off, but Fran stuck to it. She said, "It's not a scratch, it's something else. I know it." A few years ago, I would have laughed at this, but what if she's right? What if some people really are being selected or connected by something bigger than themselves? What if stories like Fran's get dismissed, not because they're crazy, but because someone wants to dismiss them? If it were a nobody saying this, we could have said it was a publicity stunt. But why would someone like her make this up? What would she gain? Nothing. There are some who believe that the planet is more or less like an animal farm for some superior alien species. A few others think she might have had one too many drinks the day she said those things, but what if that's exactly what they want us to think? I'm not a psychic, but I'm pretty sure this isn't the last time we'll be hearing a story like this, and trust me, it would only get stranger from here. This next one was uploaded by a man who had recently moved into his new property. What was supposed to be a time of joy became one of confusion and anxiety. Why, you ask? Well, listen to this.
Alright, for any of y'all who don't believe that this is real, then I'm just making it up. I'm about to prove it to you.
Did you hear that? He kept hearing this coming from his attic, and being the brave man that he was, he decided to go up there and investigate. He found nothing but this doll with its eyes taken from it. A little more looking around, and he discovered this journal with cryptic messages written in numbers. Personally, the doll would have been my sign to leave, but not this man. He wanted to get to the bottom of it, literally. The opportunity to do so presented itself. He started hearing sounds again, but this time not from the attic. It felt like it was coming from down below other walls. It was hard to say, but the man instinctively knew where to look. See that? Why buy a property that has an entrance sealed like this in the first place? I've watched enough horror movies to know that won't end well. But clearly this man is not. He enters the space, and it initially looks normal. That was at least until he discovered this locket-looking thing. He opened it, and guess what he found? The very eyes that were missing from the doll, along with some parchment. After fixing, he saw what looked like a demonic figure with a clearly written message. The message was simple: run. Personally, not sure I would have needed a warning to know to run, but maybe, just maybe, it's due to the rumor in my family that we first discovered chickens. Perhaps we did more than discover them. Perhaps we became them. Anyway, what would you have done?
Of course, they would go inside. What do you think? I think they fit.
While you share your thoughts, take a look at this one. And yes, that's a man being taken away on a stretcher. The man on your screen was hit by a vehicle while going about his duties, and for the most part he was okay, but to make sure all was well, he was admitted and subjected to a series of tests. During one of the scans, not sure which, a device was found in his leg. The funny thing about this is he's got no recollection of a device ever being planted there. I mean, I might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but even I could remember if a device was surgically placed in my leg. Anyway, he filmed the whole thing and it went viral. Some in the paranormal community told him he was probably abducted by aliens and then tagged to enable them to track him. Others weren't too sure and were a bit skeptical. They felt there was no way he was going to be allowed near an X-ray or MRI machine with his phone still attached to his hand. To them, this was a sure sign that he was faking it. Others chimed in that he could simply have asked for the phone after the thing was discovered. You've seen the clip. What does your gut tell you is going on here? Someone genuinely sharing their experience or someone genuinely trying to trip us off by telling us tall tales? Let's hear your thoughts. This footage is eerie and kind of fascinating. It was pulled from a security camera inside a mine in Chile. In the clip is a man walking alone through the narrow corridor of the mine when he stops, turns, and starts talking. What's strange is that there's nobody else in the frame. He seems fully engaged, nodding, gesturing, and even reaches out to shake hands with thin air. After a moment, he smiles, says a few more words, shakes hands again, and continues walking like nothing happened. The security officer monitoring the footage was stunned. He immediately rewound the clip, thinking maybe the second person didn't show clearly on camera, but no, there was no one there with the man. This has led people to believe that he was interacting with a ghost, and given the setting, which has been the site of many accidents and fatalities, it's not too far-fetched to think that maybe he encountered the spirit of a miner who died there. What's even more compelling is how natural the man's behavior was, like he was used to seeing whoever or whatever that was. The rate at which conspiracy theorists are starting to look like the most credible people on the planet is actually getting scary. Remember all those wild theories about reptilian people and human clones? Yeah, the ones we used to laugh off. Well, it's not that funny anymore, because lately we've seen a lot of things that seem to back those theories up. Take this image for example. It was taken during a press conference released by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But look closely at his neck. There's this weird horizontal bulge going across it. It just doesn't look human. Now sure, people age and skin sags, we get that, but this doesn't look like sagging skin. This looks like something else entirely. And if you've heard the conspiracies, you already know that some people are thinking that they say that these could be reptilians shape-shifting into humans, clones, or even highly realistic human robots wearing synthetic skin. I know it sounds crazy, but is it? Because stuff like this keeps popping up more and more. This clip comes from a lady called Melody, and it all started with a strange voice message. She tried to contact her uncle to talk to her through these paranormal gadgets and got a response. Her uncle told her he was real, and that became the beginning of her challenges. Soon after hearing from him, she began noticing a translucent man in a doorway. At first, she dismissed it as her thoughts, but eventually she realized it was really there when she uploaded the clip online. We shared the aftermath of this particular one some episodes ago. There was a dark shadow that looked very demonic in the background. We didn't receive the true story in our last episode covering this, but thank God for interns, they brought this to our desk, and I thought I'd clarify. A few days ago, a storm rolled into Washington, D.C. It wasn't anything too out of the ordinary until someone noticed something strange just before the storm hit. Now, this isn't about lightning or thunder. This is about what showed up on the weather radar. Someone monitoring the radar noticed a massive storm system forming and moving across the area, but then something else appeared. From the right side of the screen, a fast-moving object shot across the radar, cutting directly toward the storm against the direction of the system itself. It wasn't part of the storm. It wasn't shaped like any known aircraft or natural interference. The person who caught this shared it online, and it immediately got people talking. A lot of folks believe this might be a UFO moving right into the heart of the storm. And honestly, what else could it be? It's not confirmed, of course, but more and more sightings like this are being captured, not just by smartphones, but by radar, satellites, and government tech.
If something's out there, maybe it's not trying to stay hidden anymore.
So, on the topic of shadow figures, take a look at this. Would you believe me if I told you that room was supposed to be completely empty? The person who recorded it didn't share much, just said they'd captured something otherworldly on camera. At first, people were excited. The clip came from Japan, and a lot of viewers thought it had to be legit. The eerie atmosphere, the sudden movement, the strange shape, it all felt pretty convincing. But then one person pointed out something that made a lot of us take a second look. If you slow it down and watch closely, there's a shadow on the floor that moves toward the spot where the figure shows up. And when the camera swings toward the back room, for just a moment, you can actually see someone standing behind the wardrobe. That's not all. The video seems to be sped up, probably to make everything feel more sudden and creepy. It's little things like this that really make you question what you're seeing. Is it something paranormal or just a carefully staged setup? Either way, it's a good reminder that not everything spooky is supernatural. But then again, what if this one really wasn't faked? A man shared a strange piece of footage that was captured in the woods near his home. His wife had set up a wildlife camera just to track animals, but what they found was something far more unsettling. Now, this man has been having recurring nightmares before the footage was even found. In his dreams, a shadowy figure was stalking him. Then a few days later, his wife checks the camera, and there it was. On the footage, you see a dark shadow gliding slowly from right to left across the screen. And here's the part that freaked him out the most. The shadow was moving toward the direction of their house, and it looked like the apparition from his dreams. Now, he's terrified. He wants to believe it's just a bird flying overhead, or some lens flare, or even a bug on the camera, but deep down, something doesn't sit right. What are the odds of having nightmares about a shadowy figure, then catching what looks like one right outside your home? Some are speculating that this could be a spiritual warning. Others believe it might be a shadow person. But what do you think? Now, I know you guys hate blurry footage, but I thought we could visit the subject of the sea serpent again. Do you see what looks like a giant serpent in the water? Have you ever seen that in all your years on the beach? If you said no, well, that'd be the two of us. Someone on this channel, however, sent an email claiming they'd seen it. They refused to say where for fear of being discovered, but they argue that the government has knowledge of these creatures and is secretly collecting them for something big. What? He didn't say, but it's got us thinking. Could there be any truth to what the person is saying? Also, did what we are seeing in the clip really happen? So many questions, yet so few answers. Just thought to include this as food for thought. If you've seen massive creatures or have footage of any, please share them with us via email. We want to understand this mystery. If you live in the southeastern part of the United States, this is your time to shine. These mysterious fireballs were allegedly captured raining down in different states within the region. The video on your screen is dated June the 26th, 2025, which makes it fairly recent. When the clips started making their way on paranormal platforms, a number of people mentioned they were meteors, yet not all were convinced. A few others argued that these meteors were just a cover for the real thing that was entering our atmosphere. If you haven't guessed it already, they felt aliens were the ones entering our atmosphere undercover. If you've watched Michael Bay's Transformers, then you should understand what I'm saying. There's no way to confirm this, though. Part of me wishes it were true so we could prove once and for all that aliens exist, but a part of me knows what would happen to us when an advanced species lands on our planet.
Anyway, if you live in the southern states, let us know if you saw this. Otherwise, we might have to just write it off.
Take a look at that. It almost looks like an orb full of stars, like you're staring straight into a miniature galaxy. But this isn't space. It's someone's eye. And while it looks otherworldly, what you're seeing is a real medical condition known as asteroid hyalosis. Despite the name, it's nothing to do with space. Asteroid hyalosis occurs when tiny calcium lipid deposits form inside the eye's vitreous, the gel-like substance that fills the eyeball. These little particles catch and reflect lights, creating this starry floating effect. It can look dazzling, even eerie. The good news is it's usually harmless. Most people with this condition don't even notice it unless they're getting an eye exam or happen to catch it under the right light. Still, it's wild how something so beautiful and strange can be happening right inside the human body. Pay attention to the clip. Did you catch that? Pay attention to the dog. Do you see it now? The dog from when the man first entered the frame is different from the dog we see after he crossed the tree. It's almost like he had a ghost dog jogging alongside him, which only disappeared after the real dog showed up. I would have screamed fake, but notice the expression of confusion on the real dog's face. Yeah, you can't get a dog to fake that. I mean, I can't even get mine to sit, but that's more of a me problem. Some in the paranormal community think it might be the ghost of his old dog protecting him in the wild. Sounds a bit much, but I can think of no other way to explain this unless it's some sort of unexplained camera glitch or it's edited footage. First of all, this is something you shouldn't do without proper gear, especially at night. These guys clearly didn't catch the memo and decided to explore a haunted bridge at night. There's poor visibility, and from the little we see, the terrain isn't so safe. But what exactly are they after? Well, rumor has it that there's a non-human entity living down there. They figured that nighttime was the time it made itself visible, since there weren't any peeping toms at that point of the day. At least until these guys came around. The clip ends the moment the guys actually find whatever is there, leaving us on a very bad cliffhanger. Many in the community demand the rest of the footage, but the guys didn't share. Some debated its authenticity, whereas others felt whatever they were tracking down there most likely possessed and took over one, if not all of them. While that sounds intriguing, we've no way of knowing for sure what happened that night. If you were to use your imagination, what would you say? Also, we didn't come across the original account for this one, so if you've seen the original video and know what happens to them, please let us know in the comments.
Dude, hold on. Let me go first.
Now, this next clip is one of the strangest things I've seen in a while. A few people had parked their motorbikes and were just hanging out, but then, out of nowhere, it gets weird. In the center, a man suddenly rushes toward another person and starts what looks like a physical struggle, but the person he's fighting with doesn't look entirely real. As the video plays, you notice that the figure he's grappling with seems to fade in and out of reality. One moment they're there, clear as day, the next they're flickering, almost transparent. But the man doesn't stop. He continues to fight this thing across the scene, moving around as if it's pushing him, grabbing him, and even throwing him off balance. What's even stranger is that the people standing nearby don't intervene. They're watching. Some look confused, others are just staring like they're trying to make sense of what they are seeing. So what exactly are we witnessing here? Is this man really fighting with a ghost? A homeowner recently shared this eerie footage from their security camera. The camera is mounted just above the front yard, facing the driveway of their home and their front door. It was late at night and everything was calm, until this happened. Out of nowhere, an apparition appears. You can see the shape. It's humanoid. It walks slowly across the yard, making its way toward the front door. What's really strange is that the camera, which has motion sensors, picked up on it immediately and began to track its movement. But just as it reaches the door, it vanishes. The motion detection stops and nothing else moves after that. Skeptics think it might be a glitch or a shadow, but others believe it could be a spirit, maybe someone who used to live there, or even a lost soul passing through. The question is, what was it trying to do? Was it just a residual haunting, replaying an old action, or was it there for them? Some of them were out in one of the Arab countries with their camels just minding their business in the vast open area when they spotted something strange. Out of nowhere, something fell from the sky and hit the ground before rolling a bit across the sand. They were quite a bit far off, so they zoomed in with their camera to get a better look, but none of them went over to check what it was. Because we don't have much information or a close-up, the internet has been going wild with theories. Some people are saying it could be an alien, possibly an abductee who was dropped back from a cloaked UFO. Others think it might just be debris falling from space, maybe a piece of a satellite. But if it really was space junk, wouldn't there be more wreckage? And if it was a person or a being, where did it come from? With no visible craft, no follow-up footage, and just a strange object dropping out of the sky, this one is wide open for speculation. So what do you think happened here? When we think of professional athletes, especially those playing at the top levels like the NBA, we often admire their talent, discipline, and the sheer work they put into perfecting their craft. It's all skill, training, and maybe a bit of luck, so we're made to believe. But footage like this surfaces, and it makes you wonder if there's more to it than just talent. This clip was taken just before an NBA game. The players had gathered in a circle, as they usually do, for what looked like a moment of team prayer or focus. But then one particular player, Pascal, a Japanese athlete, did something strange. He tilted his head upward, slowly, and his eyes appeared completely white. It was almost like he'd slipped into some kind of a trance. People who saw the video have started speculating. Some say it's just a visual trick from the camera, maybe lighting or bad video quality, but others are not so sure. Some believe it could be a ritual or black magic. What do you think? During a heavy rainfall, something truly bizarre was caught on camera, and it wasn't your average lightning strike. In the footage, you can see a dense forested area with the rain pouring steadily. Then suddenly, a bright sheet of orange light erupts, but not like any lightning most people are familiar with. Instead, it's this wave of illumination spreading from somewhere deep in the trees, followed by a quick flash of intense orange light, and then, just like that, it dies out. Some have speculated that maybe a tree fell onto a power line, causing a surge and explosion. This could explain the color. Electrical fires often burn with that kind of orange hue, but even that doesn't quite line up with how massive and sudden the light was. It looked more like an energy discharge, not a single short-circuit pop. Others aren't so convinced by the mundane explanations. A few viewers pointed out how the light seemed to originate from within the forest, not above it, almost as if something inside the woods triggered the flare. That's led to more speculative theories, from military experiments to underground activity, or even natural portals that are said to occasionally appear in remote places. So what do you think? Paris is often called the City of Love. It's a dream destination where tourists flock to soak in the romance, culture, and charm. But lately, something disturbing has been happening that women especially should be aware of. More than 100 young women, most of them teenagers, have reported terrifying encounters during crowded festivals in Paris and other cities across France. While standing in the crowd, many said they suddenly felt a sharp prick on their arm, back, or a leg, like a needle. And they weren't imagining it. Medical teams confirmed tiny puncture wounds, and in some cases, syringes were even found at the scene. After these attacks, empty vials and bottles of unknown substances were found scattered across festival grounds and popular spots in the city. While victims were tested, no drugs were detected in their systems, and not all the needles were syringes. Some were reportedly sewing needles or compass pins, as if the goal wasn't to inject, but simply to hurt or scare. So far, a few individuals have been arrested, but French police is still investigating the why behind these bizarre attacks. Is it a coordinated effort, a sick trend, or something darker? No one knows yet. So if you're visiting Paris or anywhere, stay alert, stay close to friends, and always trust your instincts. What you're looking at right now is more than just a strange mark on a floor. This is a haunting imprint tied to a mystery that dates back to December 1978, and the story behind it is as eerie as it gets. It all started in Athens, Ohio, at an old psychiatric hospital. A woman named Margaret Schilling, a patient at the facility, vanished one day without a trace. The staff initially thought she just wandered off or maybe escaped, as some patients occasionally did. A search was done, but nothing was turned up. Nearly a month later, well into January 1979, Margaret's body was discovered in an abandoned part of the hospital in a locked room no one had thought to check. But when her body was removed, an imprint of her form remained on the floor. And that imprint is still there to this day. No matter how many times they've tried to clean it or scrub it away, the mark remains permanent. Some say it's just a chemical reaction, the result of bodily decomposition and poor ventilation, but others aren't so sure. Some staff have reported strange sounds and unexplained sightings in that wing of the building, especially near the room where Margaret was found. In North America, something strange was recently caught on camera, and people are freaking out. A witness managed to film what looks like a massive spherical object on the ground. From the footage, it's hard to tell exactly what it is, but it's huge. It looks like a smooth metallic giant orb. The internet immediately went crazy with theories. Some say it's an advanced military drone or surveillance device for some secret project we're not supposed to know about. But others are leaning into a more mysterious explanation, claiming it could be a UFO. What makes this even more unsettling is that this isn't the first time something like this has been seen. Similar orb sightings have been reported around the world, from Brazil to Japan and now here in North America. Could this be the same object traveling globally? Could it be some kind of unmanned craft, either alien or experimental tech? Or is it something else entirely? Have you ever heard of the haunting of Hummel Park? If you haven't, buckle up. Hummel Park is a wooded area located in Omaha, Nebraska, and over the years, it's become infamous for some eerie stories. Locals claim the place is haunted, cursed even, and many have reported seeing things lurking in the trees. One man decided to investigate for himself. He headed out there, camera in hand, just to see if the stories had any truth to them. As he walked near one of the old staircases leading into the woods, he came across these candles. That's when something truly unsettling happened. He didn't see it at the time until later, but the camera caught it. Behind a tree was a pale white face, sunken dark eye sockets, almost like it had no eyes at all. The man was so scared that he fled out of there with the people he came with. What was that thing? Some say it's a spirit, others say it could be something more sinister. What makes this even darker is a comment someone left in the footage. They claimed they had visited the park years ago with their brother and was chased by the KKK. Apparently there's a history of violent energy attached to that land, and many believe that whatever haunts the park today could be tied to its troubled past. So would you ever visit Hummel Park?
Where?
Oh my god. This is a prank, I know that.
Go! I just saw him. Go. Don't fall. Don't fall up the stairs. Oh shit. Get your flashlight. Hurry.
While you type out your answers on Hummel Park, take a look at this clip. Now, at first glance, it might look like someone showing off what working remotely looks like, but that's not at all what's happening. The man you see on your screens right now, despite his calm composure, is conflicted. He recently moved into a property he's recording from and started experiencing strange things. He told a few people about it, but everyone thought he was just jittery after moving into a new place alone. Determined to prove he was not seeing or hearing things, he started recording at random times, and surely enough, he did capture something in this footage. The audio is enhanced, so you should be able to hear it. Did you catch that? It sounds like someone's footsteps can be heard moving around on his property. That was not part of the deal, yet it was what was happening. He shared the footage on paranormal platforms seeking answers, and many told him the house was most likely something that had a dark past. They weren't sure what had happened there, but whatever it was, they knew it was significant enough for spirits to make themselves known whenever there was a new person in the property. What would you have done in his shoes? Moved out, or simply faced the unknown terror that probably lived there for decades or centuries before you were even born? Let's hear your thoughts. Someone snapped a picture of this very strange-looking ship just off the coast of Columbia River near Portland, and people are trying to figure out what exactly it is. The ship had these giant golf balls on its deck, which gave it a bizarre, almost sci-fi look. It didn't resemble any regular cargo or military ship that most people would recognize, and that has sparked tons of speculation online. Well, one commenter who claimed to have worked near it shed a bit of light. According to them, the ship recently underwent a lot of crane work, and the balls are high-tech globes that were just installed. Here's the wild part. The ship is reportedly capable of tracking a golf ball in the atmosphere, which suggests it's built for serious aerospace surveillance or missile tracking. Inside, it's said to be packed with cutting-edge electronics and radar equipment, possibly used for monitoring launches, atmospheric activity, or other classified targets. So while it may look odd, it might just be one of the most advanced tracking vessels on the planet. Still doesn't make those giant domes look any less mysterious, though. Scientists have made a wild discovery. About 2.6 million eggs were found near an underwater volcano, and they weren't just any eggs. They belonged to the Pacific white skate, a species of deep-sea fish closely related to sharks and rays. But here's the crazy part. These eggs were found at a part of the seafloor previously believed to be too cold to support life. And yet, right there in that lifeless terrain, millions of lives were still silently incubating, clustering around the warm cracks near the volcano. Experts believed the heat from the volcanic activity might be providing just enough warmth to create a massive natural nursery, almost like an underwater hatchery hidden in plain sight. So what else is waiting to be discovered beneath the surface? Next time you're in Japan, you might want to double check what's on your plate because, believe it or not, you could be eating poop. Yeah, you heard that right. A Japanese scientist recently made headlines after unveiling a rather controversial solution to the country's growing sewage problem. He discovered that human excrement contains a surprising amount of protein material. So what did he do? He sent it off to the lab, mixed it with soy protein, processed it under high pressure, and gave it a food coloring to make it look more appetizing. And just like that, we have synthetic meat made from human waste. Apparently, it's even past safety standards. They say it's perfectly edible, high in protein, and believe it or not, environmentally friendly. But would you eat it, even if it tasted good? Or is this one scientific breakthrough that's better left off the grill?
研究費という点で言ったら、確かに今の段階では普通に売られているお肉のやっぱり何十倍か何百倍するかもしれません。ただこの研究がきちっと
Maybe this explains why people are so full of shit these days.
Beachgoers in Maine were recently met with a strange and unsettling surprise. As they strolled along the shoreline, many people began to notice something odd underfoot. Dark, sticky stains spreading across the sand and coating the bottoms of their feet. At first, no one could tell what it was. Some thought it might be oil or pollution, others feared it was something more serious. But after a bit of research, it turns out to be something even weirder. It was millions of dead insects. A wave of tiny lifeless bugs had washed ashore in massive numbers, darkening the sand like a slick stain. Experts believe changing tides or winds might have swept the swarm out to sea and then back in again, but no one's quite sure what triggered it. If this is just a natural event or a sign of something bigger in our environment, who's to tell? They say Mars is the next big option for humans if things ever go wrong here on Earth. That's why there have been so many Mars missions lately, with everyone trying to figure out if the red planet is habitable. But what if it's already inhabited? Believe it or not, some researchers and internet sleuths believe Mars might already have life, or at least traces of something that used to live there. Satellite images and strange surface anomalies have sparked serious debate. Take this, for instance. Someone shared an image of what looks like a weird object on Mars. It's oddly shaped, has button-like features like a remote. People have also found formations that appear to resemble alien bones or fossilized structures. Are these just rocks playing tricks on our eyes, or could they be signs of ancient extraterrestrial life? It's wild to think about. If Mars was once home to intelligent life, or even if remnants of visitors still litter the surface, what does that say about our place in the universe? Maybe the planet we're racing to was already inhabited by tenants. The CIA is one of the most suspicious organizations. They've been tied to some of the world's most disturbing programs, from MKUltra to UFO conspiracies and even time travel. Back in 2003, the CIA declassified a set of documents that left many stunned. These documents detailed something known as the Gateway Experience. It was a series of experiments that were less about spies and weapons and more about altering human consciousness. And according to these files, they weren't just trying to expand the mind, they were trying to travel through time. The program was originally developed by the Monroe Institute, which explored out-of-body experiences and expanded states of consciousness using sound frequencies called hemisync. The CIA, of course, took an interest, and according to the documents, they believed that with the right combination of meditation, sound stimulation, and mental training, the human mind could potentially leave the confines of space and time altogether. They claim that consciousness is not bound by the physical world, and if tuned correctly, it could access other timelines, dimensions, and even the past or future. The documents read like science fiction, but they're real, public. You can look them up. The files go on to suggest that reality itself is more like a hologram, a projection with enough focus, a trained mind that could break free from that projection and step outside of what we understand as linear time. So was the CIA actually onto something? Did they tap into a hidden truth about the universe, or was it just another experiment in their long list of what-ifs? Stepping away from the CIA stuff for a second, we've got a clip out of Afghanistan that has a lot of people calling a legit UFO sighting. So here's what happened. Jeremy Corbell, the filmmaker who's known for sharing some of the most talked about UFO footage in recent years, just put out a new video on his YouTube channel. He says it shows military infrared footage of a large disc-shaped object flying through the clouds over Afghanistan. Now, according to Corbell, this wasn't some random blip or camera glitch. He says it was actually logged in official government reports as a disc-shaped craft. It moved in sharp, sudden directions like it was being controlled intelligently. And here's the strange part. There were no signs of heat or normal engine propulsion, nothing that shows how it was flying. It just was. He also says the U.S. Department of Defense gave it the official label of UAP, which is basically the government's new way of saying UFO without actually saying UFO. And apparently that classification still stands. Corbell pinned down the exact time of the sighting, 11:13 UTC, on November the 23rd, 2020. And he even dropped the coordinates from the footage, which point to a remote mountain region in Ba-Kunar, Afghanistan. He claims it was filmed by a military platform under the control of the U.S. Air Force. At first, the object was just being watched passively, but then it suddenly changed direction mid-air. According to what Corbell shared, there was some kind of atmospheric disturbance noted in the official records. Again, no heat trail or anything we'd expect from something flying through the sky. Of course, not everyone's convinced. Some people say it might just be a balloon or even a drop of water on the lens, but others are saying those explanations don't really hold up, especially when you watch how the object actually moves through the clouds and changes direction. It doesn't behave like a balloon at all. Here's the tricky part. Both sides agree we need the original raw footage to know for sure what's going on, but so far, no one's releasing it, which makes you wonder, why not? What's in that footage that they don't want us to see? Whatever this thing was, it's clear it didn't fly like anything we know, and until we get more answers, it's just one more mystery adding to the growing list of things the skies are hiding from us. You're looking at something that almost feels made up, but it's very real. A bright green spider with a smiley face on its back. No, this isn't AI generated. It's not a prank or a sticker someone put on a bug. This is an actual living spider. And it's called the happy face spider. A woman saw it crawling on a car, and understandably she freaked out. I mean, imagine seeing a spider grinning at you. But unlike the Joker, whose smile hides something sinister, this spider's face is the opposite. Despite its creepy, cute look, the happy face spider is completely harmless. These rare little creatures are found mostly in Hawaii, and their markings can vary. Some have full smiley faces, others just have strange symmetrical patterns, but it's their vibrant color and playful design that have made them go viral whenever someone spots one. So next time you see something crawling on your car, take a closer look. It might just be a happy little visitor from a strange corner of the animal kingdom. I never thought I'd be excited to see a piece of over-engineered equipment, But that device on your screens right now, that gives me joy. In case it was not obvious already, that's a bug killer, and although we're not told how it works, we can confidently say that this demonstration is enough to win us over. I mean, look at that. It's supposed to be a mosquito killer, but it's clearly killing other wind insects too. Some even argued that it may be killing moths, so it's not perfect, but a little tweaking and we got ourselves a full mosquito defense system. Would you be willing to pay for something like this? Also, how many are you buying? My answer to all these questions is yes. It doesn't make sense, but it's still a yes. Someone captured something really strange in the night sky, and it's hard to explain why. In the footage, a UFO-like object hovers quietly with a bright blue beam of light straight down to the ground. The video doesn't show what exactly the beam hits or why it was sent down, but it's the kind of footage that raises more questions than answers. Some believe it's a form of energy scanning or even a method of communication or data collection, especially since similar blue beams have been reported in other UFO sightings across the world. Skeptics say it's just a lightning trick, a laser or a CGI hoax, but then again, if it's fake, it's a pretty convincing one. So what do you think this was? This image, taken in 2020 by a man hiking with his dog in Oklahoma, captures something unsettling. It is a decayed creature's head with part of its mouth gone, revealing its powerful jaws. At first glance, many might think it's the remains of a large dog, but there's something about the structure that has raised doubts. Some members of the paranormal community are convinced that this is no ordinary animal. They speculate that the head belongs to something far more mysterious, possibly a Bigfoot or the infamous Dogman. The jaws are unusually strong-looking, and the decayed appearance makes it hard to identify what the creature once was. Could this be a long-lost creature or something stranger, or is it just a misidentified animal? Speaking of misidentified animals, a bulldog owner thinks it might just be a bulldog, but then again, that's just speculation. What do you guys think? Black magic and voodoo have always been curious and controversial practices, often associated with rituals that raise many questions. When I first saw this clip, I couldn't help but wonder if it was connected to voodoo or black magic. The video starts off looking like someone preparing meat to cook. After adding spices, they placed 2 dolls in red dresses on the meat. Then they cut something else and tied the dolls together, securing them into the meat with more spices. After that, the person wraps the meat with a red rope, covers it in a red cloth, and ties it again. The meat is then placed in a cooking tray surrounded by vegetables, and here's the unsettling part. Candles are placed all around the tray on the floor. What could this mean? It feels like a ritual, but whether it's related to voodoo or something else entirely is unclear. In many cultures, red is a color linked to power, blood, or intense emotions like love and rage. And dolls, especially in voodoo, are often used symbolically. Could this be some sort of ritual for binding, protection, or harm? What do you think is the purpose behind this bizarre act? Could anyone with experience in this share them with us? And yes, that was a bear, and yes, he just let a bear out of the truck. A very big one at that. How did it get in there? Well, no one knows, but I'm very sure that both the bear and the owner of the truck will be glad it's out. Not sure what led the bear into the truck in the first place, but who knows, maybe it thought it was a taxi.
Alright, go ahead and unlock it.
Sure.
Yep, that's sure as I'm gonna be.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh! Oh!
That is not what you wanted.
Oh!
Now it won't lock because he's...
The video playing on your screen takes us back to 1964. It's an interview with a man named George Van Tassel, who made a bold and fascinating claim that an alien provided him with the formula for time travel. Van Tassel explained that the moon's craters were more than just geological features. They were alien bases known to the FBI and the American government. Even more intriguing, he described the aliens as human-like, resembling white men with tans. However, Van Tassel's story took a dark turn. He later passed away, and the FBI allegedly seized all of his work. Conspiracy theories suggested his wife was contracted to kill him, though no proof of this exists. Was Van Tassel onto something, or was it all a hoax? My guess is we'll never really find out, but I do wonder if Donald Trump lives on the moon. I mean, they're talking about white guys with tans.
Years ago, they wondered why this particular crater had these lines in it. And with the magnification which you can get with a larger telescopes, this is what they found. These lines are tubes laying on the surface of this crater and running under some of the mountain ridges.
Moving on to UFOs, there are indeed other sources of evidence that suggest these phenomena are very real. Take, for instance, the fragments that have been recovered from alleged UFO crash landing sites. When these fragments are examined by experts, they found an unusually high percentage of magnesium. This is a material that, while present on Earth, is extremely rare in such high concentrations. What makes this even more intriguing is the speculation surrounding these materials. Some researchers believe that the unique composition of these fragments could be linked to gravity manipulation, possibly explaining how these crafts are able to move at such incredible speeds and defy known laws of physics. It's been a while, but I've got a bonus segment for you. You know, the part where you get the chance to tell me something unique about what's on your screen, and we send you a shout out at the end of the month. Yeah, that one. Do you know what this is? Can you tell if it's real or not? If it's real, can you tell me exactly what it is? And one interesting fact about it. Start your response in the comments section with the word bonus, and I'll highlight the best answers at the end of the month. Good luck and all the best.
Strange stuff. That's crazy. That's crazy. Floating branch.
Should we be worried or scared? If you're asking why, then I take it that you're not aware of all that's been happening recently. The first clip was from New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey again, where strange UFOs were seen in the sky. The second is from California. While the Californian clip is a bit different because we don't have UFOs, there's a branch floating in the sky and it's not an isolated incident. We've seen similar in places like Idaho, where there are branches floating in the sky for no apparent reason. Some have decided to call this a glitch, whereas others think it's got something to do with our planet's gravity not working properly. The situation is not helped by the fact that the government deploys the military in some of these areas where a lot of these odd and unusual things are happening. This has led some stating and believing that the government may actually have an idea about what's going on. Until we can prove that, we'll just have to leave that theory alone. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these clips. You've seen them. What do you think that we are dealing with?
What is that? What is that though? What is that? Why is someone running? No, lower it down, lower it down. You're dumb as
By now, many of us have heard of Randonautica. It's a mysterious app that sends users to random coordinates for what seems to be a fun, adventurous experience. But over time, the app has become infamous for leading people to eerie and unsettling places. In this chilling story, two friends decided to try Randonautica late at night. They followed the app to an open, isolated area, but what happened next turned their fun outing into something straight out of a nightmare. As soon as they stood there, they noticed something moving across the forest on the other side. It wasn't a person, it was a humanoid creature running at an unnatural speed. Its glowing, piercing eyes through the darkness reflecting the light around. And just as quickly as it appeared, the creature vanished into thin air, gone without a trace. The friends were unable to process what they'd just seen. What kind of creature moves so fast with glowing eyes, only to disappear into nothing? Was it paranormal, a glitch in reality, or something else entirely?
Where it was running? What the fuck? Okay.
This is where it was running.
That's where it was running. Ain't no way, dog.
While you think about that, this blurry video was shared by a homeowner who was reviewing his Ring camera footage. It was a typical and usual activity for him, only this time he would find something unusual. In the footage, an odd figure or object can be seen flying by. It's hard to make out exactly what it is, but its movements don't match anything typical like a bird, plane, or drone. The object appears to zip across the screen quickly before vanishing into the distance. The homeowner insists the footage is not edited or manipulated in any way, but he admits that he has no idea what he captured. With footage this unclear, it's always tough to say for sure what we are seeing, but it raises questions about the many unexplained objects that people catch on their cameras. Some who've seen the clip speculate that it could be a UFO or some form of extraterrestrial technology, while others think it might be a strange atmospheric phenomenon. You've seen the clip as well, so what do you think this could be? Some people have extraordinary body features, but what we are looking at here seems almost unbelievable. In the footage, someone is pulling and stretching the skin on their leg like it's elastic, almost like rubber. It's hard to believe that this is even possible. However, there are skin conditions that can explain this. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS for short, is one example. It's a rare genetic disorder that affects connective tissues, making the skin super stretchy and fragile. Among other symptoms, however, the extreme elasticity in this video makes it look almost like silicone or synthetic material. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it? Here's an intriguing piece of footage from China. A man captured what appears to be a rectangular-shaped object hovering in the sky. The object is glowing and completely stationary. Now, there's some debate. Some people believe this could be the result of a blue beam projection, which can create optical illusions in the sky. Others think it could be something more, perhaps an advanced aircraft or even something otherworldly. What do you think? This image was taken in Canada. A man had captured this unusual object hovering in the night sky with distinct lights glowing underneath it. The lights are bright enough to illuminate parts of the object, giving it an otherworldly presence against the dark backdrop. Unlike the classic circular or disc-shaped UFOs often seen in popular culture, this object has a unique shape that defies easy categorization. Its unusual form and the strategic placement of lights under it make it stand out, leading to speculation about what it could be. Given the increased frequency of reports of oddly shaped aerial crafts, it's no wonder that many are quick to label this sighting as a potential UFO. The unusual structure and luminous appearance have led many to believe that this could be a high-tech craft, perhaps not of earthly origin. On the other hand, skeptics suggest this could be the result of a new advanced military technology or a drone with an unconventional design. What do you think? While you share your thoughts on that, we have another intriguing piece of footage that is people talking about cloaked objects in the sky. Take a look. In the bright blue sky, there's this odd cloud formation. At first glance, it seems just like any other cloud, but something about it looks, well, off. Its shape is too precise, too deliberate. Some are suggesting that it's not a cloud at all, but a cloaked object, something trying to blend in with the atmosphere. It's hard to dismiss when you really look at it. Could this be a UFO using advanced cloaking technology, or is it just an unusual cloud formation? Aaron's money is on the latter. What about you? A man was out one night putting something into his car when his security camera captured something chilling. Take a look. Just there behind the car in the darkness, a large, ghostly figure appears to be moving. You can see the man noticing it too as his eyes follow the movement of the entity passing by. To confirm what he saw, the man reviewed the security footage, and there it was again. The figure, ghostly and unsettling, moves in the shadows behind the car. Now the question he keeps asking is, what was that figure? Was it a ghost or perhaps some other sort of entity just passing by? A resident in Andøya, Norway, shared this eerie footage that's baffling viewers everywhere. 4 bright green orbs were seen drifting upward into the sky, each leaving behind a trail of smaller orbs following in a curious weaving formation. The movement wasn't chaotic or rapid like fireworks, nor did it have the typical patterns you'd expect from drones or aircraft. Instead, these glowing orbs seemed almost deliberate in their ascent, moving gracefully in sync with one another. So what could they be? Northern lights are a common sight in Norway, but these lights had an unusual structure and were far more defined. Some suggest they might be flares from a military exercise, while others are leaning toward the unexplained, possibly some kind of advanced technology or a genuine unidentified aerial phenomenon. What do you think it is? Next, we've got this chilling ring camera footage from a homeowner who was left terrified after reviewing what their camera had captured. There, Right by the entrance stood a ghostly figure shaped like a skeleton, just hovering in the dim light. The eerie silhouette lingered on the side of the entrance for a while, almost as if it were watching or waiting. Then, without warning, it flipped and vanished into thin air. Imagine the shock of discovering something like this right outside your door. Was it a trick of the light, a glitch, or something otherworldly? A man lived in a house that he believed to be haunted, having experienced many strange sightings over the years. But one day, something truly unsettling happened. As he arrived home and looked through the metal gate leading to his front door, he saw what appeared to be a hand resting behind the door inside the house. Startled, he rushed in, expecting to find someone, maybe an intruder, or worse yet, confirmation of the ghostly presence he'd always suspected. He flung the door open, but there was no one there. The house was empty, and he was completely alone. The hand had vanished without a trace. What could you have done, assuming this is very real and authentic, of course? This very disturbing footage was recently shared by a group of men who'd set out one night in search of a mysterious and elusive creature. Equipped with a flashlight and a camera, they were trekking through the dark when the unexpected happened. As they walked, the camera caught something eerie in the distance. Just look at that. A shadowy figure moving past, unmistakably something out of the ordinary. One of the men shouted his alarm to his friends, and that seemed to provoke the creature. Within seconds, it launched toward the group, knocking the camera to the ground. You can hear the commotion as the camera briefly captures the creature walking off, leaving the scene in silence. Thankfully, the men weren't seriously injured and managed to get home safely. But this footage, it's intense and unsettling. The creature almost seems too real to be dismissed as a hoax. Its movement and sudden aggression leave little room for doubt. The fact that the men were that close to it and made it out unscathed, however, leaves a lot of room for doubt and speculation. Anyway, what do you think? Imagine being sent to jail for defending yourself. Sounds crazy, but it happens more often than you think. Many people have been convicted despite acting in self-defense, simply because the courts couldn't fully grasp the situation they were in. But now Florida has taken a major step forward in justice and technology. Courts in the state have begun using virtual reality to recreate crime scenes, allowing judges to experience what the defendant went through firsthand before making a final ruling. Look at the judges wearing VR headsets, stepping into the shoes of those on trial and seeing exactly what happened from their perspective. This is one of the most innovative uses of AI and technology in the legal system. And here's the best part. This method is specifically being used for self-defense cases. For the first time, courts can move beyond flat evidence and conflicting testimonies to truly understand the situation before passing judgment. Personally, I think this is groundbreaking and could lead to fairer rulings for people who have had no choice but to defend themselves. What do you think?
These people are coming into his space, right?
And he's backing up.
And he's backing up.
So as not to be injured like his wife and are being approached. And it's like a chest-to-chest encounter, no matter where you look.
Two friends had visited the Pilcomayo River near Taricha, Bolivia, for a relaxing day by the water. One of them took this picture of the other standing on a rock, posing against the breathtaking scenery. At first, there was nothing unusual, just a man enjoying the view. But later, when they looked at the photo closely, they noticed something chilling. Let's zoom in and take a better look. On the side of the river near the bank was another figure, one that was not supposed to be there. It was slender, its skin pale and almost gray. Its head was large, its eyes massive and black. This thing appeared to be translucent, almost see-through, as if it was barely there. It seemed to be walking along the riverbank, unaware that it had been captured on camera. Now, tell me, how do you explain this? Some are saying that this creature is some sort of interdimensional being, seeing how see-through it is, but others say it's just a hoax. But what are your thoughts? A man was out fishing at Sali Lake, nestled by the Navajo Mountains, when he captured something extraordinary. From a distance, there was a large hairy creature. You can clearly make out the domed head and broad shoulders. According to the man, this was no ordinary animal. He insists it was a Bigfoot, and he saw it moving through the landscape. The creature's size and distinct movements left little doubt in his mind. I mean, the area isn't known to have any primates, so there's no way to fault his claim. Naturally, the online community can't seem to come to a unanimous decision concerning its authenticity. A large majority, however, believe it's the real deal, but what say you? The Tesla empire is undeniably a major force in advanced human technology, particularly in the realm of electric vehicles and renewable energy. Their innovations are impressive, from cutting-edge autopilot systems to sustainable energy solutions. However, with such rapid progress, there are bound to be issues that arise, and Tesla has had its fair share of complaints. Recently, while in traffic, someone captured footage of a blue Tesla car with a bloated back end. It's unclear what caused this, but incidents like this do raise questions about the reliability and durability of Tesla vehicles. People are left wondering if the benefits of owning such an advanced machine outweigh the potential risks. How many of us here own or would love to own a Tesla? What do you make of these videos? Do you consider them a cause for concern, or do you think people are just exaggerating to make new technology look bad? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. This next footage was taken in China, and what was captured is truly mind-blowing. Someone spotted a strange object flying in the sky. It's a round, flat craft with lights glowing around its rim. This is the classic UFO design we all know. Now, I've come across plenty of so-called UFO footage before. Most of them are blurry, shaky, or obviously fake. But this one, well, this is different. The details are sharp, the movement is smooth, and there's something about it that makes it hard to dismiss as just another hoax. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. Would you consider this actual proof of extraterrestrial presence in China, or is there another explanation? A mother had set up a baby monitor in the nursery after noticing something strange. Every night at the same exact time, her baby would wake up crying hysterically. No matter how much she comforted the child by feeding, changing, and rocking, nothing seemed to help. So she took the baby to the doctor, but the results were clear. The child was perfectly healthy. Yet the strange pattern continued. Determined to find answers, she decided to stay up one night watching the monitor closely, and that's when she saw this. As her baby lay peacefully in the crib, a pale, horrible face emerged from the shadows. It had glowing eyes, and it simply watched the child. It didn't move, didn't make a sound, it just stared. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it vanished. The mother was terrified. It wasn't human for sure, but who could she even call? The police? What would she say? Those familiar with the paranormal believe they know what she saw. They claim it was a strigoi. It's a restless spirit from Romanian folklore. Strigoi are said to be the souls of those who died violently, unbaptized, or with unfinished business. They rise at night, seeking energy from the living. While some target adults, others are drawn to infants. It is said that the strigoi does not always attack immediately. Instead, it watches, choosing its victim, waiting until the child is weak enough to claim. A farmer recently shared intriguing footage online claiming to have captured something unusual on his property. In the video, a small creature can be seen walking on two legs with humanoid features but an oddly shaped oversized hat. The farmer believes the creature is a duende, a mythical creature known in various cultures, often depicted as a small mischievous being. However, not everyone is convinced. Julius, for instance, argues that this footage could simply be a product of AI manipulation or digital trickery. Given the rise in AI-generated content, it's becoming harder to differentiate between what's real and what's artificial. So what do you think? Could this be a real duende sighting, or is it another case of digital coaxing? This video was captured in Brighton, Ontario back in 2023. A woman noticed something incredibly strange in the sky. There appeared to be two moons. One of them was bright and unmistakable, likely the actual moon. However, further ahead in the sky, there was another round, glowing sphere that looked eerily similar. The second orb was much dimmer, but its shape and positioning made it stand out. What could this mysterious second object be? Could it be a reflection, a celestial event, or something entirely different? Aaron's money is on it being an alien craft, but then again, it's purely speculation. What say you? Have you ever heard of what the 9G force is? If not, let me explain after you take a look at these two clips. Watch this first footage. It's just a close-up shot of a man's face. As the test begins, you can see his face and skin start to sag, his cheeks pulling down unnaturally. His expression shifts, his eyes struggling to stay focused, and he seems on the verge of blacking out. Then, as soon as the machine is turned off, he regains his composure, breathing heavily but returning to normal. Now look at the second clip. The exact same thing happens to another man. His face contorts under immense pressure, and his features are almost unrecognizable for a few seconds. Again, once the machine stops, he snaps back to reality, visibly shaken but alive. What you're watching is a 9G force pilot test. It's a brutal experience where the human body is subjected to a force 9 times the weight of gravity. For fighter jet pilots, this is a routine part of their training. At 9G force, the body weighs 9 times more than its usual weight. Imagine the immense pressure on the lungs, the blood draining from your brain, and the sheer fight to stay conscious. It's not just about physical endurance, it's about mental strength too. These tests stimulate the conditions that pilots face during extreme maneuvers in high-speed aircraft.
Legs tight, deep breath. You're on top, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. Drop the shoulders, breathe. 1, 2, breathe. Squeeze your legs, squeeze your butt. Hey, squeeze, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Are you there? How you doing? How you doing?
While the situation with the farmer was an isolated incident, this next clip from New South Jersey is not. Listen. You hear that right. These sonic booms are not just isolated incidents in New Jersey alone. No, they've been heard in various parts of the world, and despite their growing incident rates, nobody can say for sure what's causing them. Many theories have been flying about, including the possibility of it being a secret government project or that aliens might be involved somehow. If you've heard these sounds where you live or have any idea of what could be causing them, please let us know in the comments section. In this next clip, we have a compilation of security footage captured at a military base in Lima, Peru. These airy ghostly figures were spotted moving all over the base. Just take a look at that. The way these figures glide across the screen is unnerving, almost as if they're not bound by the same physical rules we are. But what could they be? Are they ghosts, remnants of some past event haunting the grounds, or could they be something else entirely? Cloaked alien creatures perhaps hiding in plain sight? What do you think these figures might be? Ghosts, aliens, or something else altogether? This man is walking down a hallway when out of nowhere a dark, shadowy figure rushes into him, knocking him hard against the wall. He stumbles backwards, clearly caught off guard, but the unsettling part is what happens next. The shadow appears to grab him, dragging him across the floor and around the corner of the hallway. The man struggles with the shadowy figure, desperately trying to break free. For a moment, it looks like he might not escape, but after a tense struggle, he finally manages to free himself. Without wasting a second, he bolts out of there, leaving us to wonder, what was that thing? Was it something paranormal or an illusion? What do you think? Could this be a case of a malevolent spirit or something else entirely? A group of friends decided to explore a haunted house and conduct a paranormal reading. They set up in the center of the dimly lit room with a camera rolling to capture everything. One of the friends, who is a medium, sat near a shelf stacked with old dusty items. As the group focused on their session, something strange happened. Behind the medium, a stick leaning against the shelf suddenly levitated, hovering briefly and then fell, landing squarely on the medium's head. The moment stunned everyone in the room. While no one saw what caused the stick to move, the incident was caught on camera, leaving the group and the viewers debating what might have happened. Could this be the work of a spirit trying to communicate, or maybe a powerful poltergeist making its presence known? Someone mentioned it could be reversed, but I doubt that. Anyway, let's hear your thoughts. And while you ponder about that, listen to this. Did you hear that? No? Just take another listen. I thought I was hearing a creature scream, but the farmer who recorded this thinks it was a man crying out for help. Not sure why he was working that late in the dimly lit area, but according to him, this was the first time he'd heard anything like this in all his years of farming in the area. It made his blood run cold and left him frozen for a few seconds before he started to move and even recorded a part of the encounter. While he insists he thinks it's a man crying out for help, everyone else thinks a large beast may be roaming the area. You've seen the clip and you've heard the audio with your own ears. What do you think we are dealing with? A couple had just welcomed their baby girl, and like many new parents, they set up a camera in the nursery to keep an eye on her. The nursery door was always left slightly ajar just in case, but one night, while they were fast asleep, something terrifying unfolded on the monitor. In the dead of night, 3 loud thumps were heard. Then, without warning, the nursery door slammed shut with an eerie bang. Moments later, the same thumping sound returned, but that wasn't the worst of it. Out of nowhere, a dark, shadowy entity appeared over the crib where their baby was sleeping. The figure loomed ominously above her, its form shifting in the dim light. Then, as if deliberately, it moved the toy that had been resting at her feet in the crib. This chilling presence hovered for what seemed like an eternity before finally vanishing into thin air. What was that dark entity? A spirit, a shadow being, or something else entirely? There are old legends that speak of a massive monster slumbering deep beneath the earth, some kind of doomsday creature destined to rise and end the world. Most dismiss these as mere myths, but then there's this footage, which raises chilling questions. A man came across a strange opening in the ground, a structure that seemed to descend deep into the earth. Curious, he decided to toss a small stone into the hole and listen for what might happen next. At first, there was silence, just the faint sound of the stone falling deeper and deeper into the abyss. But then something happened. A loud, ground-shaking roar echoed from the depths. It wasn't the sound of the stone hitting something hard. No, this was different. It was a primal, guttural noise, almost as if a massive beast stirred below. If this is to be believed and the myths of old are true, then we can't help but wonder what lies beneath our feet and how long before it breaks free. Aaron has theories, and Julius thinks we're crazy. What about you? In this next footage, we have a clip captured by a home security camera. The camera caught a strange figure walking up the stairs inside the house. It appears to be a glowing humanoid figure that just appears in the middle of the staircase. Then, without hesitation, it proceeds to climb up to the next floor out of the camera's view. Could this be a spirit making its way through the house, or is there another explanation? What do you think? If you've always thought glitches weren't real, this might change your mind. Take a look. The clip starts off with this motorbike rider riding onto the scene. He stops in front of a house, rushes in, and is chased out. He tries to get on his bike, but is pushed by a woman coming from the house into a car that's driving on the main road. Usually, people get crushed that way, but he's lucky to somehow end up on the hood of the car. Is that the glitch, you ask? Well, no. If you pay attention to the clip, you notice something falling from the sky to the area right before the woman. It's a bike seat. Also, the moment she pushed him onto the road, someone fell from the sky looking just like the rider. How is this possible? A glitch, maybe?
Malito, litsi. Takan magtula. Look. Oh my word.
We've definitely seen our fair share of weird things in the sky, but what is this? Can anyone explain it to me? We see a massive, thick, black cloud or smoke, and through it we see flames shining. The strangest part is that it looks like some sort of grillo structure descending toward the earth. I've never seen anything like this before. There's no small capture on a trail cam. This is something huge. Huge things can barely be hidden. This has made even Aaron skeptical this is authentic. He thinks if something like this happened on the planet, it would be in mainstream media. Julius just thinks it's CGI, and I'm tempted to go with him on this one, but what do you guys think?
Anito. Oh my god. Malito, litsi. Takan magtula. Look. Oh my word.
The expression 2 left feet has always been used to describe people like me who can't dance to save their lives. In our next clip, however, it's literal.
This shoe's still on the wrong foot. So then I do it again. What the
Yep, that's a young lad wearing 2 left shoes. Whenever he swaps the feet, one fits and the other doesn't. He repeated this several times, which led to him filming and uploading it online. I know what you're thinking. Why did he buy 2 shoes for the same feet? The thing is, he didn't. His shoes were pretty normal until they weren't. He put them on one day and they just wouldn't fit. This is why he uploaded it online. A part of him believes that this whole thing is a glitch in the Matrix. Some who saw the clip shared the view. You've seen the clip. What do you think of it?
This shoe's still on the wrong foot. So then I do it again. What the
I came across this very odd-looking footage that left me completely baffled. In the video, there's a pile of black turmeric on the ground. A hand appears, places a padlock beside the turmeric, and locks it. Then the same hand sticks some kind of twig into the pile. Another hand places a folded piece of paper near the turmeric along with a coconut. At first, nothing happens, but then things start moving on their own. The coconut slowly begins to rotate as if being turned by an invisible force. Moments later, the piece of paper suddenly catches fire without any visible spark. Then to top it all off, the locked padlock unlocks by itself. I had no idea what was happening, but then I came across a comment explaining that this had to do with the black turmeric. Black turmeric is used in various traditions for medicinal purposes, and some even believe it has a connection to witchcraft or magic. Now, while there's no solid scientific proof that black turmeric has any supernatural properties, it is said to contain some level of carbon, which could, in theory, explained by the paper ignited. But what about the moving coconut or the unlocking padlock? Is it a coincidence, a trick, or something else entirely? Did you know that we've been eating yoga mats for years? Yeah, yoga mats. A food blogger uncovered a shocking truth about a fast food bread. Turns out Subway's bread contained a chemical called azidocarbonamide, the same substance used to make plastic products like yoga mats and shoe soles. When this information went public, people were outraged, and rightfully so. The backlash was so intense that Subway eventually removed the chemical from their bread, but many other companies still use it today. Oddly, this chemical is banned in Europe and other countries, but in the US, it's completely legal. Imagine that. While other countries protect their citizens from consuming plastic-like additives, Americans are still unknowingly chewing on yoga mat chemicals. And somewhere right now, I'm certain someone is biting into a yoga mat sandwich. woman shared a chilling encounter she experienced while standing outside on her gazebo one night. She admits she almost didn't believe it herself had it not been for the security camera footage that captured her reaction. Let's take a look. There she was, standing on the gazebo, casually typing away on her phone while her dog fetched a ball that she'd just thrown. Everything seemed perfectly normal, until it wasn't. Suddenly, she turns around sharply and lets out a scream, her face visibly alarmed. According to her, the reason for her startled reaction was that she felt a tap on her shoulder, followed by a voice that sent chills down her spine. Strangely, the footage doesn't capture any visible figure or presence, yet a terrified response feels unmistakably real. What are your thoughts on this alleged encounter? What would you do if you found a child walking alone late at night? While you think of your answer, watch this.
Tu mamá, mija, tu mamá. Los brazos, mira, los brazos. Te lo juro que no es normal, viejo, no es normal, no es normal. Viejo, mira los...
Two friends on a late-night bike ride came across a girl walking alone in the middle of the road. She was neatly dressed, with her black hair tied in a ponytail, and didn't appear to be homeless or in distress, yet something felt off. She was completely unresponsive to the men's attempts to speak with her. She just stared at them, and when they talked, she silently turned and continued walking. Strangely, the girl seemed to be glowing in the dark. Yes, glowing. One of the men got off his bike and approached her, but his friend who was filming urged him not to. The footage cuts off at that point, leaving everyone to wonder who or what was this girl. Some people speculate she could have been sleepwalking, but that doesn't explain the eerie glow. Humans don't naturally glow after all. Others believe she could be a spirit or something supernatural, considering how unusual the encounter was. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have approached the glowing child or let her walk on into the night? It'd be interesting to hear your perspective, unless, of course, you don't think this is authentic and the glow was placed into the clip digitally. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Tu mamá, mija, tu mamá. Los brazos, mira, los brazos. Te lo juro que no es normal, viejo, no es normal, no es normal.
This creature was captured by a deep-sea camera. It looks like a strange brown, round, stone-like object, except it has a wide-open mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth and a tail. I know you're just itching to type AI footage, but believe it or not, it's not. Now, this isn't edited or a hoax. This is actually a real fish. It's known as the anglerfish. Anglerfish are some of the most fascinating and eerie creatures in the ocean. They live in the deep sea where sunlight doesn't reach, and they use a bioluminescent lure to attract prey. Their terrifying appearance is perfectly adapted to the dark, harsh environment. Talk about looking like what you've been through. Back in 2024, 2 men were found dead in the Washington forest, reportedly from exposure. Their families grew concerned after they failed to return home, prompting a search party to be sent out in Skamania County. 60 men, along with search dogs, helicopters, and drones, combed the snowy, freezy landscape. Given the extreme conditions, it was dangerous for anyone to stay out overnight. Sadly, the bodies of the 2 men were found, and they were identified as 36-year-old and the other was 57. But here's where things get strange. These men weren't just lost hikers, they had gone out in the woods on a Sasquatch hunt. While the official report states that they died from exposure, it leaves an eerie question lingering. What exactly were they exposed to out there? Was it truly just the cold, or did they encounter something far more unsettling? The paranormal community believes it's the latter, but what say you? As the days go by, the conversation around UFOs seems to be getting more serious and undeniable. Just take a look at this footage. A passenger flying over New York was filming out of the window when something strange happened. A flat object zipped by at high speed. It's so clear and sudden that it leaves little room for doubt. More and more, we're seeing footage like this, where not only eyewitness accounts but even radar recordings capture these identified flying objects. It's becoming harder to dismiss them as just hoaxes or tricks of the light. What do you think is happening here? Could this be proof that we're not alone, or is there still some rational explanation? Our first video of the day is from a woman who was hiking in the woods one morning. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going for hikes if the area is safe. We can't say the same for this lady, however, as she started feeling uneasy, like someone was watching her while she was out on her hike. Typically, people run when they feel threatened, but she took out her camera and looked around. Despite her best efforts to find whoever was stalking her, she found no one, or at least that's what she thought until she noticed something strange. Ahead of her, between two trees, was a shimmering area, almost like a glass. Something was there with her, but it wasn't clearly visible. It was as if the air itself was bending or cloaking whatever it was. Some who have seen the footage claim it could be a cloaked alien or some form of advanced camouflage. Others suggest it might even be a portal to another dimension. I'm not particularly sure about this one, but what do you think? The idea of a shadow government or an elite group secretly controlling the world is not new. Conspiracy theories like this have been around for centuries, fueled by distrust in global leaders, mysterious events, and, let's be honest, the chaos we often see in the world. But recently, an interesting spin on this theory came to light during an interview involving Tucker Carlson. Carlson suggests that the Nephilim, the giants mentioned in the Bible, may be playing a role here. For those unfamiliar, the Nephilim are described in religious texts as giants born from the union of fallen angels and humans. According to some beliefs, while the giants were wiped out, their spirits remained on Earth. These spirits, it's said, could now be influencing world leaders, taking control of powerful figures to manipulate and destroy humanity from the top down. Now, let's be real. This theory is wild, but the strange thing is how many people resonate with it. Think about it. There's no shortage of suspicion when it comes to the motives of our leaders. Global crisis, unchecked greed, and decisions that seem to hurt ordinary people have led to some questioning if something darker is at play. Do I personally think world leaders are being possessed by Nephilim spirits? I'll admit it's a little out there, but I can see why people are drawn to this theory. It's a way to make sense of the madness happening in the world.
That whatever's going on is very deep.
Yeah.
I've spent my whole life around politicians and seen decisions get made, interviewed people who run things, and what's happening now is qualitatively different. So different that it's not in the same category at all.
No.
The man on your screen is Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's talking about the concept of Neuralink and similar technologies. For those of you unfamiliar with the concept, it's essentially connecting a computer directly to the human brain. I know, it sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's not. Elon Musk is already making headway with this technology. Do we need it, though? Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson thinks we may not need such invasive technology, and his argument carries weight. He emphasizes that we already have incredibly powerful portable computers in the form of our smartphones. These devices put the entire world's knowledge at our fingertips, accessible in seconds with a simple tap or voice command. In many ways, Tyson's perspective suggests that the practical utility of brain implants may not outweigh the ethical, medical, or societal concerns they bring. Smartphones already serve as an external extension to our brains, allowing us to store information, communicate, and access vast resources. That said, Neuralink does have the potential for transformative applications, particularly for individuals with disabilities or neurological disorders. It could enable groundbreaking treatments and possibilities. However, for the average person, Tyson's argument stands. We might not need chips in our brains when we already walk around with a powerful tool in our pockets. What do you think, though? Is this the leap to brain implants inevitable, or should we focus on refining what we already have?
There's this urge to put chips in our head, and I'm just saying, I can pull out my iPhone and get any information I want in seconds. Do I really need it in microseconds plugged into my head? I mean, without you cutting me open, I can get that same information. They're talking about connecting your brain to the internet. I'm already connected to the internet. It's in my hand. I'm good with that, okay? So back up.
This image was taken by a mother while she and her son were exploring the Cougar Mountains in Washington. The boy, mesmerized by the glowing aurora borealis lights above, raised his hands toward the sky and told his mother that he was trying to reach out and touch his angel. Moved by the innocent gesture, she decided to capture the moment, not realizing how extraordinary it would later appear. When she reviewed the capture, she was shocked to discover something she hadn't seen before. It was a strange hand reaching down from the sky toward her son, almost mirroring his own outstretched hands. Could it be that the boy truly saw his angel? Could it be a sinister spirit or being? Or did she lie about them not editing the clip? Julius, of course, believes it's the latter, but what if, just what if, they're telling the truth? The brain relies heavily on muscle memory, which is how we manage to move through our daily routines with ease. This next footage demonstrates how even the smallest change can disrupt that muscle memory. Take a look at these people climbing a staircase. Each time they reach a particular step, at least one person stumbles. You may be wondering why this keeps happening. Well, here's the reason. That specific step is slightly different in height compared to the rest. As people ascend, their brains have already calculated the rhythm and stride they need for the steps. But when they encounter a different one, it throws them off balance, causing them to stumble. It's fascinating how our brain and body work in sync through muscle memory. Even the smallest deviation can disrupt our usual patterns. If you're confused about what you're watching, well, you weren't the only one. At least I was too the first time I saw it. That's not an MRI machine, and the images you see on the right are not poor imitations of the left. No sirree. Scientists are actually trying to build dream reconstruction machines, and what you see on your screen is some tests they're running on what they've built so far. While it's not perfect, you still have to agree that they've made some serious progress. It's only a matter of time before they actually build a fully functioning machine. When I first saw this, I was happy because I'd love to remember some forgotten dreams, but why are they doing it? Why do they want to be able to see our dreams? Also, who's to say they'll stop at dreams? What if the machine somehow gets modified and it's able to sort through our memories and construct our thoughts? You know what? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but what do you guys think of this? A poignant moment at a burial took an eerie and mysterious turn when an unusual phenomenon was captured in a series of photos. In the first image, the scene is solemn yet ordinary. There is a casket on the ground as family and friends stand nearby mourning their loved one. However, in the second photo, something extraordinary appears near the fence. A glowing white figure floats in the background, resembling a being cloaked in a radiant robe with its arms outstretched. The ethereal nature of the figure, its luminosity, and the timing of its appearance have led many to believe that this might be an angel. Family members and attendees, deeply moved by the occurrence, see it as a divine sign, an angelic presence coming to guide their loved ones into the afterlife. While that sounds soothing, that could really be the case. I guess we will never know. The ocean truly is one of the most mysterious places on Earth, covering vast territories that remain unexplored. There have been countless stories and legends of giant sea creatures lurking in the deep, with many yet to be discovered or confirmed by science. Recently, some fishermen made headlines when they reportedly reeled in a giant creature. From the footage, it appears to resemble a massive snake with a fishtail, an odd and eerie combination. While the ocean holds many secrets, this footage looks more like a fabrication. The creature's appearance is strange, almost too bizarre to be believed. Julia screamed fake, and I wanted to chastise him for this, but not without having evidence. When I started scrutinizing the clip, I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. There's something funny going on with the hands of the one closest to the camera. No, I'm not calling it fake, but these things typically happen to clips created or edited with the AI, so what do you think? Real or fake? A group of hunters ventured deep into the woods on a mission to capture evidence of a yowie, a creature often described as Australians' version of a Bigfoot. They were prepared with infrared cameras and set up camp, waiting through the night. While the cameras went off a few times, alerting them to movement, the hunters never actually saw the creature with their own eyes. However, when they reviewed the images the next day, they found something chilling. In one of the photos, there was a massive creature standing right by them in the dark. Somehow, it had managed to get close without any of the hunters noticing. The infrared camera had captured what their senses had missed. What do you make of this? Could this be real evidence of the elusive yowie, or is there another explanation? A man and his friend were driving late at night when his friend, who was in the passenger seat, decided to start filming the drive. As he pointed the camera toward the road ahead, something strange happened. On the side of the road, just in front of the dark woods, a human-like figure appeared briefly only to vanish within seconds, almost as if it melted into thin air. Both friends were taken aback, wondering if what they saw was a ghostly apparition. Some viewers of the footage think it might indeed be a spirit, while others suggest it could have been a trick of the light or a person who somehow slipped quickly out of sight. What do you think? Was this an encounter with the paranormal, or is there another explanation? A man was at an old mining site late one night when he came across something truly eerie. At first, he thought he was just seeing shadows, but as he turned on his flashlight and started recording, it became clear that there was something far stranger going on. There were ghostly figures scattered across the site, appearing as men at work, almost as if trapped in time. These apparitions moved like miners, and you can even hear the faint sounds of tools echoing in the dark. It's haunting to witness these figures toiling away as if forever bound to their work. Some say that certain spirits don't move on after death, but are stuck in a loop, repeating the tasks they performed in life. This footage might just be a chilling glimpse into that endless cycle. A man came home one day to find one of these orbs inside his house. It was glowing and emitted a low buzzing sound, almost as if it was electrical. The orb floated around the room, but he did well to keep his distance. He didn't dare get as close as it drifted through his home. In another case, a different homeowner captured footage of a glowing orb at his doorstep. It hovered outside for a short while before zipping away into the woods at lightning speed. All around the world, people report seeing mysterious glowing orbs. These spheres have baffled witnesses for years, with some speculating they're balls of lightning, while others are convinced they're linked to extraterrestrial activity. These encounters raise so many questions. Are these orbs truly real? If they are they just rare forms of lightning, or could they be something more, perhaps some kind of alien technology or entity? Have answers? Well, share them with us in the comments section if you would. And while you wrestle with the authenticity of that clip, this next one doesn't make things easier. Take a look. Yes, sirree, that's not connected to any gas outlet, yet somehow there's a fire which has confused even the individual holding it. When I saw this, I felt there must be a little gas left in the tube, but even if that's the case, well, shouldn't it have run out, or the strength of the flame decreased a little at least? Well, Julius couldn't believe me and refused to comment on this, so I'm on my own. Or am I? Can you guys share your thoughts? Do you think this is truly a supernatural feat, or is there some logical explanation behind this? The internet has become an odd and chaotic place these days. Every day there's something new going viral, with everyone jumping on the trend only to forget about and move on to the next bizarre fad almost immediately. Take this for example. Right now there's a wave of videos showing people combing swarms of insects out of their hair. It's honestly disturbing to watch, and the way these videos are spreading, it doesn't feel like a real-life issue. It's most like some viral trend that people are just following without a second thought. What's the purpose behind it? Can anyone explain what's going on with this bug-infested hair trend? A homeowner in a remote wooded area got an unexpected surprise when his Ring camera captured something unusual one night. Just beyond the edge of the forest, a ghostly white figure appeared, moving slowly across the camera's view. The figure resembles what some called a night crawler. It walked with a strange, deliberate gait, gliding across the ground in an almost otherworldly way, like it was floating. The sight is eerie, with a creature moving silently. Its legs and body look elongated and thin, like something out of a supernatural tale. These night crawlers have been spotted in different areas around the world, often near forests and remote places, adding to their mysterious reputation. Could it be some new undiscovered creature, or perhaps something more supernatural? A property owner was jolted awake one night by strange noises coming from his backyard, which backed onto a dense forest. Curious and unsettled, he decided to investigate, grabbing his camera as he stepped outside.
I'm hearing the things in my woods again. I've been hearing the sounds in the back of my woods. The heck is that? Oh my god!
At first, he saw nothing. The yacht appeared still in the eerie darkness. He was about to give up, thinking the noises had been nothing more than a passing animal or the wind, when something in the grass caught his eye. There, crouched low, was a creature unlike anything he'd ever seen. Its shoulders looked somewhat human, but its neck, long and crooked and unnervingly skinny, was far from normal. This creature's eyes glowed intensely in the dark, radiating an unnatural light that pierced the shadows. As he stared, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was no animal, nor anything remotely human. I mean, looking at the clip, it definitely doesn't look ordinary. It gives me the same vibe or feeling those alleged rake clips give. Is it authentic, though? That's a whole conversation on its own. Anyway, what do you think?
I'm hearing the things in my woods again. I've been hearing the sounds in the back of my woods. The heck is that? Oh my god!
Trees are living things, and while we know they grow and change over time, walking has never been part of their typical behavior until now, apparently. Take a look at these clips. Multiple trees have been caught on camera moving, not just swaying with the wind, but literally shifting from place to place. It almost seems unreal. Just look at that. Some skeptics claim this might be an illusion caused by camera angles or environmental factors like strong winds, but others believe there's something stranger at play. There are also some who laugh at these clips, claiming there's no way such a thing could be real. So what do you think the situation is currently? Could it be a natural phenomenon we've yet to understand, or perhaps some kind of trickery? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Mobile phones were designed so we could have them always within reach. But what if I told you that the further your phone is from you, the better? And here's why. Our phones emit RF, which is short for radio frequency radiation, which studies suggest may have harmful effects on the human body. The closer the phone is to us, the more we absorb these frequencies, increasing potential risks. It's advised to use the speakerphone for calls instead of holding the device directly to our heads. And keeping phones in our pockets, that's an even bigger concern, as prolonged exposure has been linked to issues like brain cancer and even testicular cancer in men. So if the safest way to use our phones is to keep them as far away from us as possible, then doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of making them mobile? What exactly do they expect us to do now? A homeowner in Florida woke up one morning probably expecting a quiet day. But when they stepped outside and looked toward their backyard swimming pool, they saw something floating in it. They had to call animal control immediately because there was a 9-foot alligator, and there's no way they were handling that on their own. The footage shows this massive reptile splashing in the water as the men tried to get it out. But this isn't exactly rare in Florida. Alligators wandering into pools, golf courses, and even kitchens. So next time you're heading outside for a swim, maybe give the water a second look. You never know who or what might be waiting. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go with our clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't, well, the good news is you could share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.